All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for March 9th, 2024. We'll start with the 30-minute hybrid swing portfolio. This is Alcoa on 30 minutes. Here was the opening. It sold off a little bit, came all the way back up, so we entered with a standard risk. It moved to the top, started to fade back. This is where the R10 rolled over. So we take at that point the swing or the dragon skin exit right here. So we get that trade. And that's worth about 1.5 R. And it closed pretty well the rest of the day. And that bodes very well for tomorrow. AI, this was uh, a gap down and recovery, morning hook. And it didn't really follow through, though, so we got about 0.2. Caterpillar was a big deal today. This was here was the close. Here was the gap up, and it continued just to go. So entered here when it had moved a standard risk off the opening. That's like a quick frog entry. And all that did was go straight up and terminate in a perfect exit right at the skin of the dragon for 2R. And that was just the prettiest trade ever. And what I like is that the 10 period anchored VWAP is up, the 5, the 3, and the 1. Everything is where it should be and going north on the Great American Company. And that's one I probably should have held overnight. If we take a look at this on the longer term, that's at an all-time high. It made an all-time high back here, and we're well on the way back to 380, and we're only at 350. So there's another 10% move to the upside. This is a 9-day chart right here. So we could go from here back to here. That's a plus 10% move. Still available, and all systems go. Caterpillar. Yeah. So back to Cliff. This one was, here was the close yesterday. It gapped down a little bit and then took off. Does a PSAR flip, so I'm entering as it's crossing the Bollinger Band mean. Standard risk box. Runs straight up. Reverses. Here's where the R10 reverses. This time I took the exit at the VWAP instead of waiting for it to come all the way down to the skin of the dragon. So I think that's a better exit. And the VWAP was a better guide because the move up was so sharp. I did not want to let it go below the VWAP. So that allowed us to keep about 1.5 R. I do like the way that this closed in the last half hour for a nice recovery. So all of the industrials had that feature. So I'll be ready for that tomorrow. CVS, this closed here and it gave like a little COTA 2 intraday. So I tried that. It sold back off immediately for minus 0.5. It reversed, made a new high of the day. So I got long. A little wider risk this time. I was using the PSAR, and it gave about 0.3. So we lost a little bit on CVS today. It's still looking like a value play. But meanwhile, DIA, the Dow Jones and 30 industrials. I mean, holy smokes. Here's the close. Here was brief gap down, turned around and reversed high. On the second half hour, new high of the day entered. That's the standard risk in DIA. That's about 40 cents. And up it went. And that one returned 5R superstar. The Dow Jones and 30 industrials. Holy smokes. Where do you see that on 3 minutes? Disney, no trade. Devon Energy tried the gap and go for a fraction. EEM, gap and go for a fraction. I thought about the re-entry. I didn't take it, and then it paid off big. ETHE, this was a 1, 2, 3 in the morning for an R. Very orderly. EWW, what a monster move today. Holy smokes. If you're not trading EWW, I don't know why. Here's the close. Here's the open. It breaks through the dragon, so we get long. Standard risk. This is about a 2R battle drill where we auto add on strength. Now that's 2 positions going north. It peaks out up here. I exit here, and that gets on the first position 5 and 3 on the second position for a total of +8. Everybody that traded that today did well. Mexico, huge gap, or I'm sorry, Brazil, pardon me. Here was the close, huge gap down, morning hook reversal, failed. I exited. I missed the afternoon move. Had other things going on. HD Home Depot, big gap up and go for 3R and had to exit near the close. Intel, this had a had the close here, a slight gap down, and then it took off. So we tried it, ran up to the 3-day anchored VWAP, very close to the Bollinger Band main, but then it rolled over. I stayed as long as I could to keep it in the money. So no follow through after some initial buying pressure, but given yesterday's support and today's effort at the long side, even though it failed, I still see that as potentially good for tomorrow. If it can break above, say, the 3-day anchored VWAP, so that's at about 30.30. I'm a buyer of Intel at that price with a target of the 5-day and the 10-day anchored VWAPs. And if that all works, then the top of the RL10. So still holding out hopes. IP, this was a gap and go, which failed early and took minus 0.5. I thought about the re-entry. That ended up going nowhere, but lost 0.5 on that one. IYR, big gap and go, standard risk, 3R. Coke, gap and go, scratch. KRE, gap and go, half an hour. This is one where, we gave it some room. It ran up immediately and then just gave me lower highs, lower highs, lower highs until finally I had to take that here in order to preserve 0.5. I'm intrigued by the move in the last half hour. So we'll see if that has some legs tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised. McDonald's, this one rolled over when everything else was going up. This rolled over. So I gave it a shot here when it came below the 3-day anchored VWAP and broke the PSAR. That seemed like a reason to short it with a standard risk box. Sold off. Here's where the R10 reverses. So I take the exit at the skin of the dragon for about 0.3. Wasn't much there. 3M. Nice trade. Gap and go. This made a new high and was probably the best thing moving at that moment in the early afternoon. So put a second position, exited everything at the close for 3R. Merck, no trade. Microsoft. This was a close right here, opened here, sold off, and then started going up. So I entered on a morning hook on the PSAR flip, scratch. There was some residual strength in the afternoon, so I have some hope to re-enter that one if tech is a leader tomorrow. Marijuana, gap and go failed for 0.5. Nike, no trade. NVIDIA, morning hook for a fraction, just no follow through. PBW, this was a morning hook, and that one actually paid off for 3R at the close. Palantir, no trade. Rivian, no trade. SOUN, no trade. The S&P was just strong all day. So here's the move. Gap up and go. Had a strong second right here. In previous days, it would have failed back here, but today it continued to go and closed very well at the top of the range. And that's a 10-day high. And we want to encourage that kind of behavior. Tesla, gap and drop, fraction and scratch. Walmart, this was a morning hook for a scratch, a morning hook for a half an hour. It basically just grinded sideways. US Steel. So this was a gap up here. It ran all the way up and closed, continued to fail. So I got short. It reversed immediately, kicked me out at -1. It then rolled over immediately. I got short at the same price level with the same risk. And then this one closed here, exiting at the skin of the dragon for 2R. So +2 -1. This nets +1 in US Steel. Materials, just studying. Energy, just studying. Trading XLF, the finance, continued to be good. This was a continuation breakout. No resistance in sight, so standard risk. Finish strong, no overnight risk. 2R in finance. I'll continue to milk that cow. You'll notice that we got the 10-day, 30-day, 5-day, and 3-day anchored VWAPs all behind us, and that thing is continuing to grind north. I think you got to. That's a nice recovery. It's not quite into what I would consider to be that long-term resistance up in here above 42. So we still have another day or two of movement before it becomes an interesting test of that previous triple top resistance. So we'll see. But a short term, I do like this Kata 2 style, and it's above this piece, so it's an emerging dragon as well. That's a strong move. And there's another day or so left in that before it gets contentious. Industrials. Been trading the heck out of this one. That was yesterday. This was the close and then a gap up, continued to go up. So quick frog entry, runs up, exit near the end of the day. 3R. There's your 5-day, 3-day, and 1-day anchored VWAPs, everything pointing north for industrials. That's better than tech, by the way. There's tech, which has been just really grinding sideways, no evidence of real strength yet. But Yeah, this green line is the 3-day anchored VWAP, just pure sideways. You compare that to industrials over the same period, industrials are up and moving. So that's where the current strength is. All right. Pretty good day. Was reviewing some important flashcards from the foundations course. This is one where we use the metaphor in this case of a large organization that has to play in public the game here. And so we have our teammates and our coaches, we have the business plan, we have areas where we practice with equipment in our tool room, a place where we collaborate, where we have research and references, a place where we get our mind right, where we prepare with athletic trainers, where the coach can plan, where we can lift weights and get ready for the game. And when it's time for the game and ready to trade, we knock on wood and we take that narrow walk through the Hall of Champions. We review our motto, we get ready to play. Then when we get out on the field, man, we're ready to go. We leave everything else behind. Yeah, there's noise and commentators and people watching and all that stuff. But when we're playing the game, we're in the game and ready to go. And this entire infrastructure is a nice mental model for how to prepare to trade, how to go from the wide world out here into our training facility to get ready to prepare, to get our mind right, and then to execute. Also, I like this old flashcard. This is a reminder of what the owl pattern is. It starts with an unambiguous move at 1. So that move is an unambiguous move, clearly down. And then you get a P1, which is the RL10 crosses the RL30 outside the river. You get the RL10 rolls up and crosses the dragon at 3. At 4, the dragon rolls up. At 5, the RL30 rolls up, and therefore at 6, you enter above the dragon, and there you go. And your risk is down to 7, where you can take the either a Z2 or what we now take as the bottom of the RL10. And then that's your owl move. This is an owl move in the other direction. You had an unambiguous move. You have a P1 outside the river. You have the RLXD. You have the dragon rolling over, the RL30 rolling over. There's your entry right at the Bollinger Band mean in this case. There's your move. There's your exit. The owl pattern. You should memorize that flashcard. You know, what this shows also, by the way, is the SSC enters maybe here or here. It can be even a little earlier. Like that's an SSC entry. Not only is it an exit here, it's also the entry that front runs the owl. All the SSC needs is that. The owl requires the dragon to reverse and the RL30 to reverse, so you get a more conservative exit. But it's the continuation of the SSC. Just fun facts. All right, here's DIA on the 3-minute sniper trade of the day. PSAR flip, standard risk, second position, standard exit at the PSAR. 5R. Could go short there. Should have gone short. That would have been the exit for a scratch, but that's also the COTA 2 entry. Second position on a new high of the day. Standard exit at the Bollinger Band mean. Keep the second position in the money. Don't let that one ever go negative. That one returns about an R. Caught a 2 re-entry immediately when it makes a new high for another R near the end of the day. That's DIA. That is smooth and orderly. This is EWW on the 3 minutes. Here's the opening, and there's your OR3. I just let it settle down. There's the RL10 reversal, takes out the PSAR flip, feels correct, long, standard risk. Second position on a emerging dragon. Probably should have exited sooner. That's about 4R. Immediate re-entry on Kata 2. Extra R. Kata 2 re-entry. Extra R. Probably 6R. EWW, man. EWW and DIA and XLI. I don't know if anything's smoother than those. Just being honest. Hamad. The OR3 entry was possible. That would have paid off. You should have, if you had, you would have exited about here and could have collected that trade. Now, I think your entry could be here or here, 1 or 2 bars earlier. That's still really good. You didn't get penalized on it. You took a risk down to just below the VWAP. I love that. That would be a natural second position. You kept it as 1. That's a great exit for 1.8. I would take that. I would take this and get paid on either one of those for that. That was he was already fully committed, so he didn't take second positions. This was probably better than the other positions you had on, if I recall. This is a nice entry here. This is EWW. Who knew? Good. Great entry. Still a pretty good entry. You get the Kata 2 effect or the emerging dragon effect. Standard risk. Great exit. Perfect re-entry. We should be on it. Correct. When this goes below and then crosses back above the VWAP after that big sell-off and there's no further sell-off, that's going up. Still a good entry. And we got paid a little bit. You collected a good one. This could have gone short and probably would have scratched. Not bad. Gets paid. IP OR3. Yes, sir. Probably exit here. I like the re-entry. Quick scratch. Good short. I think you stayed to bar too long. When this reverses and comes back to the skin of the dragon, I want you out here. Then you could take that as the entry, but that's still a pretty good entry. Yeah, that's a good second entry. You got out of this one quickly enough. This would have been tempting on the long side because it had 2 chances to fail. It did not. Now it's crossing the VWAP later in the day. and it has to get back to this, I think that's worth trying. It probably would have ended up scratching over here, then I would leave it alone. Brian is just continuing to smash. He is getting things done. Showing how to do it with in this case, the Euro Aussie dollar on the 5. Look how orderly that thing trades, like a big fat snake. And perfect entry, perfect exit. This could even go long, and you could be short here and long there. Oh, don't stop. Same thing with XAU dollar. This is the gold versus the dollar on the 5s. Why not? Why not? Why aren't we taking those? Okay, good entry, good scratch, great reversal, late exit by a bar or two. Where is my, not improving the exit, improving the re-entry. So that's, he's up 4R on this one today. Yeah, this entry here is that one. Jiminy crickets. This is just Satya. Taking the real estate exams. Okay. Diversification. He gets the same SSC that I did on Mexico. Gets paid, re-enters, gets paid, missed the re-entry, tries short, missed the re-entry. So he nets 6 and misses another 10. Maybe not, maybe another 6 on these two missed trades. So you don't even have to be perfect on this thing. George, Disney, I like the capital preservation. There just wasn't, this thing wasn't moving much. Let's see what we got. So we got long. It ran all the way up. You preserved the no lose plus dinner for 2. Tried it again on the rebound. It failed -1. You tried the short. When that doesn't work and it crosses the Bollinger Band mean, make that a stop and reverse. Same thing. When the two longs both fail and then it recovers, and that fails and you get out again, we could be short here. Oh, I'm sorry. I see what you did. You did stop and reverse here and got top ticked. That's just going to happen. So we could still be on the short there, but I also, 2 shots and it doesn't work, leave it alone. I also understand that. This is Kevin on EWW. He's trading both the 3 minutes the 3 minutes and the 30 minutes. So he gets a second position on, that gives him 2.4. Quick effort on the short, -0.6. There's the entry, but he does get this one. That's 2.2. Oh yeah, didn't take that one. Yeah. Okay, so he nets 2.6 on the 3 minute. On the 30 minute, that thing just traded like clockwork. He gets that kind of hybrid frog, quick frog entry when it breaks above the emerging dragon standard risk. Takes a quick exit, but then a quick re-entry. There was a potential second position, but just exit there for 5.2 on that move. netting 4.7 for the day, plus 2 from the previous one. That's almost 6.5 for 7R. That's pretty good shooting. And this, if you're keeping score, this is his coaching template. And you'll notice that he's using best practices, the plan, prepare, execute, assess model of what to work on, and then he's using that to work his specific assessment. Planning is fine. He's still noticing he's getting impatient on the 3 minutes. It's the 30-minute is protecting him there. And then he's doing a kind of a daily thoughts of the day. Yeah, EWW feels pretty easy many days. The 3 minutes still a little jumpy. The 30-minute allowed him to not worry about missing the great move on the threes because he was picking it up on the 30s. That's one of the benefits of that multi-time frame trading. Yeah, and these SFC shorts aren't working because the market has been recovering. So an SFC is it moves up and then fails, and then you're trying to get short in here. But typically those have been reversing and you're getting caught at 2 entries that way. And that's just a reflection that the market has been grinding upward and the shorts have not been following through. Don't know how long that's going to last, but that's what it is. All right, let's take a look at the trade or reports for the day. Yeah, on the 150-day look back, still pushing near all-time highs. There we go. As soon as it gets above that, watch it go. That's why the shorts aren't working. Everything is good with the anchored VWAPs. There's the 3, the 5, the 30, the 10. Looking pretty good. Very close. There's the price. We're very close to the all-time high. Less than 1% away. Well, the last 2 times it was there, of course, it did this. So that doesn't, just because we're getting close doesn't mean it's going to go. It means this is a giant test. And tomorrow is going to be Tactical Friday. So that's going to be a day where we want to exploit daily intraday volatility and then be very careful about our overnight posture, making sure that any symbols that we have been fully paid for with markets money and that we're not risking core capital on it, in my opinion. Strong moves all across the board all day today. I just want to highlight that XLF is being supported by Goldman Sachs, smashing its way north, and JP Morgan, smashing its way north. Nucor Steel benefiting from strength in XLI. I'm still interested in Intel. It's just like a sore tooth. I can't leave it alone. It's been terrible, but it's still 7-1. McDonald's is 7-1. Hard to argue with those traditional value plays. The ETFs really paid off well today. Great big strength here in DIA and the Euro Asia. This little cluster in the XL series. Consumer staples, industrials, and healthcare. Materials doing good. SPY really doing well. But DIA is crushing SPY. I mean, DIA is the show. And this was a nice move in EWW today. There's more coming. Yeah, this is all good here. The RL90 Z-score is rolling up. The RL10 Z-score is already breached and going. That's all good. And price is at the top of the river and getting ready to try to break out. So we'll see. Tomorrow should be fireworks. All right, off we go. We'll be ready for them tomorrow.